I've been very fortunate to accomplish a lot at a very young age. The journey is what keeps me humble. Every now and then it becomes difficult for me sometimes, when I receive the awards or the accolades because I realize I don't think I deserve it. It's not that I deserve it, it's that I received unmerited favor from God. And every now and then I stop and just kind of look at my journey, and it just makes me extremely grateful, and it makes me feel compelled to pay it forward. I went through a lot as a child. I dealt with domestic abuse and violence and drugs, and that's kind of what my life entailed. And it created a very disgruntled young man, and that often manifested in school. I never cared about education. I hated teachers. I hated school. The only reason why I wanted to be there, honestly, was for basketball. Basketball definitely saved my life at that point, because if it weren't for basketball, I probably would have had no incentive to get my act together.
Brandon's on-court success in high school led to a tryout at Division I Liberty University. However, a knee injury ended his collegiate hoop dreams before they could even begin. Without the sport that motivated him, Brandon dropped out of school and took a job working in a factory.
I became depressed, and I found myself in a very vulnerable moment where I realized that I had ruined my life and I didn't want it anymore. And so I actually tried to commit suicide. Woke up in a hospital bed, tubes attached to my arms, laying there looking at the ceiling with nobody around me. And that was a very defining moment for me, because I was at my lowest place in my life. And I remember laying on that bed and, I kind of just prayed to God and said, God, please, if you'll make a way for me to fix my life, I promise you, I won't take it for granted.
His prayer was answered. Determined, Brandon re-enrolled at Liberty, pursuing a degree in English. But a lack of an academic foundation quickly caught up to him.
I'm sitting in these classes now, listening to these professors using all this sophisticated rhetoric and jargon, and I'm trying to keep up, but I just simply can't. I made a life-changing decision. I went back to my dorm room and I took my television, my PlayStation, every form of entertainment that I had. I actually took it and I sold it, and I used that money to buy books. And I locked myself in my room every single day, and I just read religiously. I read every book you can possibly think of, every subject you can possibly think of: philosophy, politics, humanities, the social sciences, history, and I just filled myself with knowledge and information, and I started to feel powerful.
And it would be a campus group that would provide Brandon with an outlet for his newfound passion for learning.
So I went to the Liberty University Debate Center, got plugged in with the debate team, and that's when I really started to find my voice.
This turnaround inspired Brandon to pay it forward. He began tutoring at-risk youth in his community, and before long, their academic scores improved dramatically.
People came and started asking me, like, Brandon, how in the world did you get these kids to perform at such a rapid rate? And I told them, I taught them how to debate.
The program's success caught the eye of famed educator Ron Clark. Clark hired Brandon to teach at his nationally recognized academy in Atlanta and to lead the debate team. Under his guidance, the team excelled, opening an opportunity for Brandon to become a faculty member for the distinguished Harvard Debate Council summer workshops. The program is designed to foster growth and encourage debate among students. While in Cambridge, Brandon reflected on how far he had come, but also the challenges others still face.
I thought about myself, and I thought about my journey, and I thought about my life, and I thought about what I needed when I was young. And so I looked around me and I noticed that there weren't many students at the university that looked like me. And so I decided that I was going to do something about that. And so I actually came up with the idea to create a diversity pipeline program that would recruit, train, and feed students of color into the Harvard Debate Council's Summer Institute.
But you have to listen and question. Listen and question. Play
with the backing of the university, Brandon launched the Harvard Debate Council Diversity Project in Atlanta. An inaugural class of 25 minority students kicked off the program. They met over the course of an academic year for rigorous training designed to prepare them to take part in the summer residential program at Harvard. But beyond that, this diversity project is helping these young scholars find their voice.
You delivered that speech. Awesome job.
A lot of minorities are not equipped to lead. But what does that mean? What do you need in order to be a leader? It's impossible to lead without the ability to persuade. It's impossible to persuade without the ability to reason. And it's impossible to reason without the ability to debate. And so by teaching these kids debate, we are equipping them with the tools that they need to be able to be agents of change.
I think that they look up to him and they can actually see themselves through him and see that excellence is attainable. If he did it, they can do it. So I just think he's the perfect person for them to believe, and that's what they're doing in this program.
For Brandon, the second chance God gave him now provides a first shot at success for minority youth.
All of that failure was nothing but preparation for this moment right now, where it gives me the ambition and it gives me the determination, because when I look into the eyes of all of these young people, I see myself. I see the young man that needed guidance. I see the young man that needed affirmation. I see the young man that just needed somebody to tell him, you can do it. Somebody to tell him, you're just as good. And so that's what we're telling these kids now. Not just these kids, but young Black kids all over the world. They are just as good. They are just as talented. And it's up to us to create opportunities for them to show the world exactly that.